everyone to Upward Bound, where we talk about topics relevant to young professionals and people in their 20s. For today's episode, we have an episode of What Do You Do?, where we highlight one job each episode. We have a very, very special guest with us today, the talented, multifaceted, and relatively good-looking DJ Matthias. Welcome.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it. So how I like to start is just an overview of what is a DJ, right? Maybe if you're explaining to someone who has no concept of music or no concept of what a DJ is,
Right.
maybe just a brief description there.
So very high level, because it could go into great detail, but high level, a DJ, short for disc jockey, is basically a mix master. So you're taking one track, right, regardless of who produced it. It could be hip hop, house music, there's different genres of music, and you're blending it with another track, but you're doing this in like a seamless flow, so it doesn't sound like there's any sort of distortion. So it's an art form, to try to make one track work with another. I mean, some people claim they could be DJs by just double clicking a track in iTunes, but I would argue that point. But yeah,
I mean, in terms of categorization, I mean, obviously there might be DJs that specialize in different genres of music, right? But what's another way of categorizing DJs? Are there DJs that, I don't know, just do weddings, or like talk about the venues, or where are DJs usually?
Absolutely. Actually, I have a story for that. So I'm personally a house music DJ, so deep and tech house. I like to play like the underground clubs, not even so much of the mainstream kinds. So what a lot of people ask me is, hey, you're a DJ, can you DJ my wedding? Right?
That's not my thing.
No, exactly. It's like saying, hey, you're an engineer, can you design this new car for me? Well, I'm a chemical engineer, so it doesn't work that way. But yeah, so like there's different types, right? There's DJs mobile DJs, they have all their own sound equipment, their DJ equipment, they have their laptops, and then you have external hard drives that just have thousands of songs in them. And those are the type of DJs that take requests from users, such as in weddings, that's a perfect scene, or corporate events. They have all the mainstream songs, the old school songs that people love. But then there's other kinds of DJs, and this is more in like the type of DJs who are in the music industry. They live this life, and they're trying to like live their life on the edge, like the newest content, and just trying to stand out apart from other DJs. Like they have their own style. And other than that, I mean, you have DJs who's been on vinyl, which is probably the most talented type of DJ you could do. Old school records on turntables, etc. And then you have the next generation of DJs who use CDs and USB sticks. So it's still kind of like the vinyl aspect, where you have to beat match and you use the jog wheels.
Physical CDs?
Yeah, physical CDs. You don't scratch them. You insert into a CD tray, so it's all digitized.
Gotcha.
It's like a digital world now. But it still takes a lot of talent, and then I would say the newest trend would be using laptops. And I'm not going to rip on that, because there's things that a laptop and its software can offer that you just can't do with vinyls or CDs. Or they call them CDJs. But some people abuse this, and I feel like they just let the software or the laptop just kind of take the talent away. And it's almost upsetting, because the people dancing to it don't realize that this guy is just lacking talent. So that's a huge problem in the industry right now.
So, different ways of segmentation. One way that you just mentioned is the type of equipment they use.
Yeah.
And so the issue you're saying is the audience doesn't realize this DJ has lack of talent?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I see it all the time. I mean, guys that get booked just because they know people, or girls, and they just don't have the talent, and they just let their laptop or their software just kind of
So do they
match
even
for them.
touch the machine, or they just
They
hands
do.
off?
You have to be extremely talented at pressing play.
Right.
You know, at the
So it's
right
just-
time.
What do they do? Do they just dance to the beats and just?
Yeah, and then some people don't even care. You know, that in the club they're too drunk to even realize, like, hey, that was a really bad transition. It's just, if it's a popular song, they'll love it and just start dancing to it. I mean, good for you if you can make it work, but it's kind of a burden on this industry for those who really have the talent and they're not getting booked for it.
So this is actually something I've always been wanting to know is, so before you go, you have some sort of a custom mix ready to go, right?
Sort of, yeah. I wouldn't call it a mix. You just have a playlist.
Okay, a playlist.
Yeah.
And then when you're actually doing the act of DJing, or say someone that's very skilled, what are the types of ways you can tell a very skilled DJ?
Right. So when a song has a beat, right? I mean, you're not gonna blend classical or country music. I mean, some people can try, but yeah, the beat is what's gonna be the key to mixing. So if a track is playing at 100 beats per minute, you want to bring in the next track at 100 beats per minute. And that kick drum, you know, that boom, 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 that needs to directly overlap with the other track. So there's no discrepancy, there's no like offbeat, so it doesn't go like dun 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 dun.
Okay,
You're not blending
rhythm.
it. Good rhythm, that's one. That's the most basic thing you need to know is beat matching. Next, you know, mixing in key. So if a song is, or if a track is in B sharp, something like that, then the next track should be also a B sharp track or something that works well with a B sharp. Because then when things are like off tune, it just sounds horrible. You know, when the guitar's not tuned and it just doesn't sound right. Same thing, and you know, I mean, I've definitely developed an ear for that. Some people don't pick up on it, but it's the little things that really take you a long way after that.
Okay. What about the turntable play a big of a part in present day DJ, or is that not? Is that not used anymore?
It definitely plays a huge part.
Because that's like the first image, right? If someone's picturing a DJ.
Oh, actually, they come up to me like, oh, look at. Like, oh, look at. Yeah, okay, that's exactly.
But is that the truth? I mean, is that still being used?
It's not as it was with vinyl. Like vinyl, you controlled everything on that, and you never really let your hands go, or your hands are always busy on the record, right? But with the digital form, like CDJs, etc., it's very similar, but it requires less control. What's the best way to put it too? A lot of it's going to be in the mixer. So the little board with all the buttons and switches and faders
up and down
between the turntables. That controls the volumes, the lows, so like the bass, the mids, and the highs, like the treble. So you control all that, and aside from just beat matching, it helps you bring in the track smoothly. Control these different levels of the track. So for example, if one track comes in with a heavy bass line, you don't want the other track to also play a heavy bass line. So you kind of cut the lows on that, and then when the time is right, you switch the bass lines, and it's just
So
that's what the mixer
you are
is
still
for.
very busy with their hands at times, just not maybe on the
not on the physical vinyl record, exactly. Because on a vinyl, the things are actually physically
also
moving.
not on the turntables on the side, even in digital. I mean, how much is it? Mostly in the middle, or?
I'd say mostly in the middle. What I use the CDJs for, the turntables, is obviously to start to cue up a track, to play it, to speed it up, slow it down, and sometimes you could, in the more advanced world, create your own loops. So if there's a portion of the track that you like, you could loop the part, you know, and save that and play with the loop. So there's a lot of things that the turntables offer that you can take advantage of. But at a very basic level, just use it to play and then speed up or slow down. And then everything else is in the mixer.
Maybe describe what would be a typical day. I mean, obviously, I assume does it take whole day? Is it usually part-time? Walk through the typical day of a DJ.
Typical day of a DJ.
Or maybe just at least from your experience, because there are some differences.
Right. Would you like me to speak about myself? Because I think my lifestyle is completely different than those who do this full-time.
Sure.
So,
maybe you're...
Myself personally, I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, and I'm in business school, so I'm doing a lot of homework. I don't have a lot of time to practice or prepare, so I just, one day for a couple hours, I'll browse all the tracks from my favorite artists, whichever ones I like, I'll buy them, I'll figure out what key it's in, create a playlist, and then just, be on the go. Typical day would be I'm studying all day, and then I have a little pre-game party with my friends. It's always great to get your friends involved. And then you're off to the clubs. And then whether you play at 10 o'clock or 1 a.m., 2 a.m., essentially it becomes a 4 or 5 a.m. night, regardless of what it is. It's just the lifestyle that you live as a DJ.
And so you get there, before midnight?
Yeah, it depends on the time that I'm playing. If it's a later one, I try not to hang out more than an hour or two before, because I'll just be exhausted by the time I get up there then, but it's cool, and I'll get a little more into detail with this too. It's just totally different on my end now, because DJing has become so easy that, you want to challenge now. So instead of using 2 turntables, I'm starting to use 3, and then hopefully evolve into 4. So you're juggling 4 different tracks or 3 different tracks at the same time. And not only that, but then you also have to read the crowd. Just because you like certain types of tracks doesn't mean it's going to work in a given setting, right? Sometimes people want more energy, or sometimes the energy was so high for a while, you need to bring it down so people would go to the bar and get a drink. You're completely in control. And what I do is deliver and tell a story with the tracks, and just kind of create this emotional roller coaster. I really just get in the zone.
Maybe a little bit also about in the background. How do you book these gigs? Do people reach out to you? Is social media important? How would you get these business?
Yeah, the best way to put, I've been, like I said, doing this for about 10 years now. So I have a really good friend. He was already in the industry, and I asked him, hey, I want to get into DJing. And he was really open to it, and then once I practiced for a little, he got me my first gig. And ever since then, we've just been working with each other, and now they book a lot of top DJs, and they're still great friends of mine. And then through this experience, I got to reach out to other people in the industry, and created the network that way, expand the network. And that's the best way I would put it. Another way I approached this was my recent trip to Canada. Our school had about 80 students go, so it was really easy to leverage a gig saying, hey, do you mind if I play here? I have 80 people. Clearly they want the business, so they agreed to it. So that's another way, if you have a big group of friends or a big network, leverage that, because it's a good idea. Other than that, you hit a point where you can't really make it big anymore. I say that, take that with a grain of salt, because some DJs could just be really good DJs and become world-renowned.
But I assume that's super rare.
It's super rare, and I doubt that I'll ever get there. To get to the next level, you need to be a producer. Create your own music, build a fan base outside of your local fans, Someone once told me, and this is awesome, or just a good point, a DJ, you're only gonna gain local support. You're gonna have local fans, but no one from outside the area is gonna care. Once you start producing your own music, that's when you have the larger outreach, and you start to develop fans across the country, across the world, and that's how you become big and successful.
And producing meanings, producing from scratch.
Yeah,
creating.
Exactly, digital music production. So I used to do a little bit in Ableton Live. Took a year of courses here in Chicago. But ever since business school, there's no time for that.
Sure.
Yeah. But hopefully one day, it's just a good way to take a break from education and let your mind loose, focus more on some music, or just DJ. And that's essentially why I do it too. It's just a good way for me to break from reality.
I mean, would you say, what would you say would be the top three, things that you like most about DJing?
Top three things I like most, just the ability to deliver, like just express myself through music. Without having to talk to people, because it's so loud in there. I'm very extroverted, but
I can't talk to you. I
can't hear you, but just dance, go listen. I love that, and the whole purpose of house music too. At least what I believe it is I mean, it's so loud. You don't go there to socialize, and you go there to dance. And it's great because no matter what race, what ethnicity, what gender you are, everyone comes to the dance floor and they unite. And it's great to see people like that just come together and not give a shit about what's going on in this world. And they're just there to have fun, and that's like such a beautiful thing to see. And lastly, the third point I'd say is just, it's a good question. It's a hobby, and it allows me to basically practice more, become a master at something, because it's something that I've already dedicated so much time to. That I feel like this is what I'm destined to do, at least for my hobby, right? What can I do next to become better? And it's just so joyful, I would say.
So another question I was interested in is, say you've done this for a while, like yourself, or maybe you're considering using the same skill set, but having a different twist on it. So what other maybe transitional directions can a DJ?
Sure. I think it creates an endless amount of possibilities in which way you could go with this. You can end up working for a big audio firm, right? Maybe a Pioneer or Shure. Shure headphones are like one of the best out there, and it's just great because you get industry exposure and you know what it is that people want. You being one of them. What is it about the headphones or the speakers that you don't like? I mean, that's just good feedback. But one other great advice that I would have that one of my professors told me in business school is that some of the best entrepreneurs out there are ones that could deal with criticism and deal with a lot of stress. And this is what happens as a DJ. I mean, it's not always a jam-packed night where people are bumping their hands or jumping up and down. I mean, sometimes it's really awkward, right? And it's like there's two people there, but the music is blasting, and it sucks. It really does. But you learn how to cope with it. And I think by dealing with that pressure, you as an entrepreneur, or you could deal with those kind of things, right? And it's just like a hurdle that you have to overcome, and it just kind of primes your mind and your ability to overcome these obstacles. And that's helped me a lot, insane amounts. I thought it was just a really crappy situation, but now I'm so grateful for that. And gigs that do turn out really well, it just makes it even better. It's like, wow, this is great now. So that's how I would put it.
That's amazing. Yeah. Any other words of advice for people that are interested in the?
Yeah, I would say don't quit school to pursue this. That
full time.
Yeah, don't. I mean, some people are just, or don't quit your job to start as a hobby, right? Do it on the weekends, throw some parties. This is me being risk averse though. Some people are just really destined to do something, so I'm not saying don't quit what you're doing, but just think deep about it before you do, because there's hundreds, thousands, millions of wannabe DJs out there, and it's just a very saturated market. So what are you going to do differently to set yourself apart is one question you have to ask. Or start producing your own music, because that, I'm telling you, that's the next level. And then if you know how to DJ your own music, then you can make it big. I'm talking like moving to LA, getting $1 million contracts through huge record labels. Producing your own music is where the future and the money's at. But then you also have to ask yourself, is that the lifestyle you want? Can you be up traveling the world 24/7, getting 3 hours of sleep per night, living a rock star lifestyle? That's another thing you have to ask yourself.
Well, I hope you can enter that lifestyle and I can just experience it from time to time.
That would be a dream. I definitely need to dedicate my life to that, which I'm not necessarily there yet. But yeah.
Gotcha. Anything else?
Other than that, I can't think of anything else, to be honest. We covered a lot.
Yeah.
We covered a lot. This is great, though.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Kevin.
For your time.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
If any of you have follow-up questions for DJ Matthias, drop them on the... Is it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Tiesto, but with a Matt.
Okay. Matthias, drop them on the comments below if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will also put a link to your SoundCloud below if you want to check out his music. And thank you so much again for your time.
Yeah.
And see you guys next time.
All right.
Bye.